Well, for about the last 40 years, this is where I wanted to be. So a lot of it was just me deciding that I wanted to be a television reporter, and after a few years in the business, deciding the place I wanted to do it ultimately, if I was ever lucky and successful enough, would be 60 Minutes. I think it's a dream that a lot of reporters have, and it's a great show. I can remember the first time I heard about the Paul White Award was when Don Hewitt was going out to Las Vegas to accompany Ed Bradley to receive the award. Now, Don Hewitt, the show gets a lot of awards, so for Don to go out there and accompany Ed out to the ceremony, I knew that this was a big deal. And after looking at the list of people who have won it, and certainly heard a good deal more about it over the intervening years, and just looking at the list of the people that have won it, to be included in that list is the highest honor I've ever received. People ask me all the time what your favorite stories are and what the stories are you like the most, and it's very hard after 20 years to pick favorites, in part because you're really concentrating on the one that's going to be on this week. And Ed always used to say, when people ask him that question, he said, well, my favorite story is the one I'm working on right now, but I can't tell you about it because it's not finished. It was an easy and a clever way to get around the question. I think the thing I'm proudest of is consistency and range of work. It's not like I only do investigative pieces. I like to go out and I like to do features. I like to do some sports stories. I would go crazy if I had to do one thing. And I think that that's one of the requirements of a 60 Minutes reporter, and one of the things that makes this show different is that you have to be able to do everything. And I'm very proud of the fact that I can do everything. Looking back on it, there's only maybe one story that I would take back. For the most part, you work really hard on these. And not every story is as good a story as the next one. You have to just try, and I think constantly I'm trying to make the material that we have in this story as good as it possibly could be. And I think I've done a pretty good job of that. Ed was really a good friend, and he was a role model in the sense that he really knew how to live his life. His job was not the overriding, most powerful thing in it, and he was a real gentleman. And so what I tried to learn from him, sometimes successfully, other times not so successfully, was to just not let it get you down, to cut some time out, some space out for you to have a private life. And Ed knew how to stop and smell the flowers, and I really admired him for that. And when you're in this kind of job, there are only a couple of people that you can sit down and talk to, and who share your experiences and knowledge about what you go through every day. And Ed was one of them for me, and certainly Morley is now. I think we were all shocked to lose Ed so early, and very few people saw it coming. But he was a wonderful colleague. The best part about this job, and I'm not the first person that I'd have to look and see, but I'm not the first correspondent from 60 Minutes to win this award. And one of the things that has been tremendously helpful to me is that I've had the privilege to work with people who are really, really good, many of them legends. Some of the most important people who've ever worked in the business, Mike and Wallace and Don Hewitt and Ed and Leslie. It's just a wonderful group of people in which you always feel that you are incredibly challenged. And I'm not even mentioning the producers who do so much of the hard labor. So it's hard to do a bad job. What the show still demonstrates is, and a friend of mine at HBO was making a speech the other day and said that, was citing examples that American people aren't stupid, and this show still is proportionately one of the most popular shows on television. And we do it, I think, by making people who watch it feel smart, by sitting down and trying to explain important issues to them and to be fair. And there's a real premium in that, and I hope that that doesn't get lost or thrown out with the bathwater.